We're live. All right, we're live. It's 5 o'clock. I'll be filling in for Roger. So Roger's not here and Joe's not here. Everyone else is present. We'll start the meeting, Pledge of Allegiance, and then I will open this up with a prayer. So everybody stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody bow your heads. Yes, Lord, we come to you today, just ask for your guidance and allow us to do what's best for everyone within the city, and please watch over us as we do so. Thank you. Amen. All right, so now we'll jump straight into any public comment we have out here. Does anybody have anything? Any public comment? Okay, all right. Nobody else, we'll go ahead and close public comment. And then we'll move on to approval of the minutes from March. Anybody have any comments or corrections? Seek approval for the minutes from March.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion Stacy,
I'll second.
second Brandon, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4-0. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Then we'll do the same thing for claims, March claims. Any comments or corrections?
The only thing that I had on the claims was just if we're getting out jobs for some of those larger projects when it comes to like updates. I noticed for the PD, we had just under 10,000 for the renovations. And
Yeah, those are bid out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I make a motion to approve claims.
Motion by Brandon,
I'll second.
second by Stacy, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4-0, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll move on to old business. We have ordinance 2026-4, authorizing the city to use taxable economic revenue bonds, first reading.
Is you want to speak on that?
Good.
Pretty good, Chris. Thanks, sir.
Thanks for letting me present tonight on the bonds for the Yorkwoods Crossing project. I'm Matt Georges with Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors. You should have in front of you a packet going over some schedules, describing the bonds and kind of the process and what we have right now for the project terms. On page 2, we have a summary so far, the general framework for how the deal is, as it is now, going to happen. There have been a few updates, and it's still in negotiation for a few points, but this is generally agreed upon. And a lot of this will make more sense as we dig into the numbers in the following schedules. But for now, for example, the 3.4 million on the first bullet point, right now it's closer to 3.5 million. But I'll talk about that a little bit more. They are 20-year bonds, and they will have a variety of pledges for backing these bonds. First, it will be a pledge from the Yorkwoods Crossing residential area. After that, it'll be a pledge of the Austin residential allocation area. That is an area that is already existing. And then after those two items, there is a taxpayer agreement from the developer that if there's any shortfall for whatever reason, the developer will be responsible for those to make up for the debt service. And for now, I will skip the latter 4 points because it will, like I said, make a bit more sense as we get into the schedules. So moving on to page 3, the bonds will be paid for, partially from this new development, the York Woods Crossing tax increment from this. And it will consist of 54 total new homes at about 230,000 per home. They're anticipating 7 homes will be built per year. Predicting for now, building out beginning this year, so that they will be assessed January 1 of 2027 for taxes payable 2028, when the TIF will begin to flow into this allocation area. I do want to highlight that this schedule does take into account SCA 1, Senate Enrolled Act 1 from last year, 2025. That does affect homestead deductions and homestead credits. So that has been built into what we have here. As you can see, each year, incrementally about 13,000 in new TIF allocation dollars will come in each year. And by 2035 at full build out, we are looking at about 3.7 million in net assessed value after all the homestead deductions. And also roughly 100,000 in TIF per year once we hit 2035. And this does not take into account any future growth that may occur, so the numbers could possibly even look better than what we have here. Moving on to page 4, this is where we'll start looking at the project costs and also the funding for the project in all. So on the first line there, we have development costs. That is for the development, we have infrastructure improvements, drainage, sanitary, utilities, streets. That's what those dollars can be used for. And it does say 3.4 million. There have been some updates, so it is now close to 3.5 million. But any increase so far has been covered by increased land sales, which we'll see in the funding section. So on to the next, we have the debt service reserve. So that is required by the Indiana Finance Authority, where this deal is being done. It is who the deal is being done with, the Indiana Finance Authority, through their residential infrastructure assistance program. And that is the maximum annual debt service per year at about 106,000. And then the third item, we have bond issuance costs and contingencies. That includes legal fees, municipal advisory fees, trustee fees, things of that nature. So all in all, the total project comes out to be about 3.7 million at this time. Now, funding for this comes from a variety of sources that we've been negotiating with. The first item we have there is the bonds, the taxable economic development revenue bonds. It is what we have illustrated here in the schedule is about 1.1 million. It is approved through the IFA through up to 1.35 million in case there's any other contingencies or developments that would necessitate increasing, but at the time we're looking at about 1.1 for the bonds. Next, the Ready Grant contribution, we have that in the amount of 2 million. Then we have land sale contributions. Right now that says 240,000. We right now are anticipating closer to 350,000. Like I said, to make up for that increase in development costs. And then the last item there is the sewer utility contributions of 250,000, and that is coming from the city for, I believe a new pump station is assisting with that for the development. And if there's any questions, I should have said that at the beginning. If there's any questions, feel free to stop me at any time, and happy to answer as best I can. On to page 5. we will show the amortization schedule for the bonds. Right now, we're assuming the bonds will be closing June 18th of 2026, when the funds will be available. This is as I said, this is an IFA residential infrastructure program, and so the interest rate that you see here is a subsidized interest rate. So the city is getting a better deal than it would on the open market or going to a local bank. If the city were to do that, it would be closer to 5 or 6%, if not even higher. So 3.7 that we're showing here is great deal for the city, saving interest in the long run. And the way we have it structured is that it will be interest-only payments early on as we wait for the development to come online. And then it will progressively ramp up to about 105,000 in annual debt service by 2036. Going on to the next page, this schedule shows a more detailed breakdown of how the funds are going to be applied with this project. And so in the first two columns under the estimated TIF revenue, the first column there for estimated tax increment, that is from the new York Woods Crossing allocation area. And the second one is the existing Austin residential allocation area. And so at full build out, you can see by about 2035, we're looking at roughly $173,000 available. Going to the next column, we have the TIF administration fees. So that's doing annual reporting, trustee fees, things of that nature. And so that leads us to the next column, which can be applied towards the debt service that we have for footnote 4. And after the tax increment is applied to the debt service, you can see our coverage there, all over 100%. The IFA has a requirement for about 125%, actually not about, they do have a requirement for 125% of tax increment to debt service ratio. And so this deal does have a structure in place where there will be the IFA required debt service reserve, which is just in case anything, basically if everything falls through, the debt service reserve will be in place to be used to cover a bond payment. The RDC historically for Austin likes to have a supplemental debt service reserve on top of that, which you can see footnote 5. It will be another safety net that the city and the RDC can use before the IFA debt service reserve would have to be used. It's just another safety net that prevents any more risk to the city. And after that debt service reserve is funded from excess tax increment, 50% of this is going to be a little long-winded. It is an interesting structure for the deal. 50% of the excess after the supplemental debt service reserve is funded will go towards extraordinary mandatory redemption, which is essentially paying the bonds down faster. The other 50% will be retained by the RDC for any legally available use for the RDC. And that structure is in place so long as the taxpayer agreement is in place, which the taxpayer agreement is in place for 5 consecutive, as we have it now, for 5 consecutive years that we have that 125% coverage. After that, the city, it is up to the city's discretion whether they retain the TIF money or they spend down quicker. It's essentially up to the RDC to do what they wish. So, to sum up, the flow of funds essentially, was there a question?
On the, on page 4,
Yes.
the allowance for the debt service reserve,
Sure.
when it's satisfied, is that 106,000 returned, or where does that go?
Yes, so the debt service reserve, it is used when it gets to a point that the bonds can be paid off. It is held until that point.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's used as like the final payment?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to highlight that there is, with the pledge of the 2 TIF areas, there's healthy coverage. Additionally, with the taxpayer agreement behind that, there's even further safety to the RDC. And then with the supplemental debt service reserve, even more on top of that. And there is no risk to property tax rates that is not pledged to this at all. And the other allocation area, the downtown allocation area, is not pledged as well. So that won't be touched if there, for whatever reason, was a shortfall. I know that was quite a lot. So please let me know if there's any questions and
All kosher with you, Chris, I mean,
Yeah, everything, I mean, so Stacy, Trevor, the TIF board, Josh, I mean, we worked hard, they worked hard on this, not me, they worked hard on this. With Bo, with Baker Tilly, with DC, and we feel like this, you know, if we're going to continue to make progress and grow, this is money. I mean, you don't, my theory has always been, we don't want to let $2 million go. And that's $2 million in ready money going towards this project's a big deal, so. And I think, I'm comfortable with the numbers, Baker Tilly, I think the TIF board, I don't want to speak for them, but I think they're comfortable with the numbers. Yep, I think we're good, I think it's a good thing.
everything was, you know, hit side like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think things are good on that side and we're good on that side and then, you know, maybe I think that we're in a good position. This is a, safe route to go. And then, you know, additionally, like Chris was saying with the Ready Grant, yeah, I think this is a great project for us to really prove to ourselves as a community for Ready Grant. So whenever it comes to the new cycle, we'll really have a good foot in the door to do more.
Yeah.
Got any questions, Mike? Any other questions for you guys?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With all these units you're gonna put in, is our sewer plant gonna be big enough?
Yes,
Yeah, we asked
that's
that.
been addressed, that's been, that's,
Questions, yeah.
yes.
We already got somebody not taken care of now. And I've already seen that. Cause got all the smell comes all the way over to my house in Spicertown. You got solar panels that nobody's taking care of now, you know.
Well, they are being taken care of, and the plant, the solar panels will be taken care of, and I will speak for the reason for the sewer, and we've discussed this.
I addressed it
Is-
myself because I noticed as well.
One, we've got a water leak that the sewer, they're addressing, we're gonna put a new water meter in because we can't run the belt filter press. So they're having to put it in drying beds. Along with that, they've had, I don't feel comfortable with the clarifier, one of the first or second steps. They've ran it down, as they should. They have to, ever so often, have to run it down real low. So you're getting the bottom, all the good where it sets. So they're having to aerate that and turn that over. So that is where a lot of this smell's coming. It's just something that they're having to go through. The plant's running fine.
I looked
Nothing.
into it additionally to see if other cities run that way to run the sludge out.
You know, you tell when Morgan is running cabbage or running beans or something like that, you know,
You
Morgan
can
is
tell it's
right on
different.
this side of town, and you got the sewer plant right across the interstate behind 5 seats, you know.
Yeah, I promise you we've had discussions about it and it's been taken care of.
Lately because I live on that
I'm
side of
not
town
here to
too.
complain,
Yeah,
I'm just.
right.
As concerned.
It's important to bring it up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, everybody knows that
Our little town over Spice Town,
Yeah,
nobody gives a crap about us.
yeah,
I can live here. Nobody cares about us. You guys are spending all the money over here, but we ain't getting nothing over here.
we can look into that too for development options in the future as well with Spicer Town.
Nobody cares about Spice Town.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
I don't think that's true at all.
Spicer Town, I think that,
How can that go down?
All right, we'll move on. Any other questions from the council?
All right, thank you for your time.
thanks.
Alrighty, and that'll bring us back to the ordinance 2026-4,
This is the first reading on.
Yes, sir.
first reading.
Yeah, I can give you a little bit of background on what the legal process will look like and what the contents of this ordinance is. There's a second one too. This type of structure requires approval by this body via ordinance 2 meetings. The Economic Development Commission will also meet, they'll hold a public hearing, so they'll have a resolution, and the Redevelopment Commission will also have a resolution. So a lot of layers of approvals that we'll march through over the next month or so. The contents of this ordinance, this is, again, as Matt mentioned, it's an Indiana Finance Authority program, so a lot of the documents are mirrored off of kind of their forms, what they've used for other deals. The contents of this ordinance set what the financial parameters are on interest rate, the total amount, et cetera. Attached to it are 2 documents that are just in a form right now. They're not finalized. They still need to go through further revision and finalization from the Indiana Finance Authority, the city team, Baker Tilly, the developer, as well as me. These are just forms, substantially final forms that are attached to it. One's the financing agreement, which will be signed by the developer, memorializing their commitment to build the project, do the infrastructure, et cetera. And then the indenture is between the city and the Bank of New York Mellon, who is a trustee. They basically hold all the funds. That's where Chris will make his payments for the bond. They also hold the bond proceeds, and the developer and the city will send, invoices up to them, and they'll review it to make sure everything's good and send the money out. But the Bank of New York Mellon is the Indiana Finance Authority's trustee. That's who they assign for these projects. So that's the ordinance in a nutshell. Are there any questions on that? I know it's lengthy. It's a lot of documents. This is what happens when you have too many lawyers work on stuff. It wasn't me. I made very clear that Indiana Finance Authority started these forms.
Anybody have any questions, comments? All right, well, we will seek a motion for the first reading on ordinance 2026-4.
I'll make a motion first.
Motion by Stacy. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor? All opposed? 4. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to ordinance 2026-5, authorizing the city to fund the economic revenue series.
I can speak. Would you like me to speak on that?
Sure.
Okay. I should have introduced myself. I'm Bo Zeller with FBT Gibbons. I'm the bond counsel, work mainly in southern Indiana on bond deals, as well as transactions like this. I live in Henryville, so it's a very easy commute here. This is the second part. Matt mentioned this project, the infrastructure for the housing projects, being funded with bonds, which we just covered under that bond ordinance. But he also mentioned they're going to be funded with city funds, and then Chris mentioned ready funds. And the way to get those to the developer, given their public funds, there's a few different mechanisms. This is one, which is a forgivable loan structure. It's the same exact legal steps that we're using for the bonds, and that's why we felt it appropriate to use this process and loan the city's contribution to the project as well as the ready funds through this mechanism. So attached to it is a forgivable loan agreement, which will, again, it's just in a form. It'll be finalized and negotiated. but that loan will be forgiven, upon the developer meeting certain requirements. So, I imagine that the first dollars to be spent will be the ready funds. Those need to be spent the fastest due to timelines that the state has. And I think September 1st is when the state wants to see the first drawdown of those funds. Then I imagine the next funds in will be the city funds, and then the last funds will be the bonds. And the bonds will be drawn down, so, which means, you take it as you need it, and you're not getting charged necessarily interest on all of it. Is that correct? We're using draw structure?
Yeah.
So, that means you're not getting charged interest day one when we close. It's as you draw it down, how much have you taken out, and, which will save money too. So, I'm trying to be good stewards, for you all. Any questions on the forgivable loan structure? This is just first read.
Any questions on any of that? All right, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mike, do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brandon, all in favor? Opposed? 4-0. Do we want to leave that one just first reading only?
Yeah, I think he said, Bo, you said first reading only on that.
For
also.
both of those?
Yeah, so, just to give you addition, like I mentioned, you have to go to the Economic Development Commission. They have to, meet and hold their public hearing and approve it before you can do your final reading. So that's why it's on the first reading.
Sounds good.
And they got their packet today, I believe, Matt, today or yesterday, Matt sent it
Yeah,
out.
he sent drafts of the.
Yeah, send it out, or not, they sent the draft out.
All righty, we'll go ahead and move on to ordinance 2026-6, amending the rezoning map of City of Austin.
I do have a couple revised exhibits for this ordinance. If you remember, Trevor, at the Plan Commission meeting, we X'd out 6 lots up here out of that section. They pertain mainly to the exhibit for the zoning. So this, assuming that it's passed, would be attached as Exhibit B to the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
That's different from what we presented to the Plan Commission.
Okay, you only have one copy of this?
I just have one copy.
Okay.
I was assuming we would just attach it to the ordinance.
Okay.
So what else?
So those are just being taken out of,
Yeah, those were taken out, because we had originally thought we might plat those at this time because they were in that other area, what we call Area 2. We said, no, let's just leave those out.
Okay.
Yeah. Over here. Just want to make sure we have a copy. You may have seen these all before. Yes, you got a copy.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, my name is Scott Adams, I'm the Director of Real Estate for DC Development. We are your partner in New York Woods Crossing. You've heard now from Baker Tilly as well as Frost Brown Todd on some financial and legal steps and analysis that have taken place for the project. What's before you now is an ordinance to rezone the property that will give the city as well as us as the developer the legal rights to utilize the land for residential purposes. The rezone request specifically is to change the zoning from, I believe today it's a combination of agriculture as well as R1. We have proposed, and the Plan Commission has now heard and has sent to you a favorable recommendation to change the zoning to a planned unit development. And that planned unit development in real summarized terms basically adopts your development standards in your Unified Development Ordinance in the zoning categories of R1, R2, and R3 and applies them to this property. So in other communities, you have the opportunity to go out and really customize the development standards and kind of make them your own. We opted not to do that. wanted to keep it really simple and just simply adopt your existing standards for R1, R2, and R3 and make them all permissible uses on the property pursuant to this plan. And so, what you see before you is the color diagram. For example, the color map shows 124 single-family lots. What we will be developing with the dollars that are being allocated to the project is 55 lots out of the 124. There's enough money to fund all of the infrastructure for 55 lots, and so all of the documents that Baker Tilly and Frost Brown Todd have drafted for you apply to those 55 lots, which we characterize as phase 1 of the project, okay? So you can see that as you get into these other maps. The last page actually shows you the 55 lots highlighted with a dark black line, okay? So there are 55 lots there, excluding that red X, the area in the red X. The zoning, as I mentioned, the application of your R1, R2, and R3 standards can be seen on the second page, which show those standards being applied to different areas of the property. So area 1, which has the 55 lots, has the R3 standards applied. Areas 2 and area 3 have those same standards with density caps applied to each of the areas. So for example, the area 1, the single family area, has a maximum density of 4 units per acre. The area over in area 3 has a max density of, I think, 8 units per acre. And area 2 has a max density of 16 units per acre. Now those are maximums. The property could be developed at less than those densities. But what this plan allows us to do is flex with the market. So if the single family market is the strongest segment of the market, we keep building single family. If all of a sudden the single family market softens and there's an opportunity to do a different type of housing, be it duplex or triplex, or even an apartment building, the zoning would allow us to flex and still keep the project moving forward and generating the tax dollars to fulfill the requirements of the project overall and perhaps even exceed the property tax generation that's even forecasted here. So the zoning is part of the puzzle, the financial puzzle and the legal puzzle that's been kind of put together here for the overall project that we feel very good about. We're very excited to be in Austin and have the opportunity to work with you. We've now been here for maybe 3 years, I think, having discussions of various types with the community to bring this project to fruition, and we're finally here, which is a testament to everybody's efforts, redevelopment as well as the council. To give you a little bit more about our plan moving forward, our hope is that we can conclude all of the approvals that are necessary to lock down the financing and the legal mechanisms authorizing the project here in the next 2 months. Our goal is to be in position to start earthwork in July. We want to do that as soon as we can in good weather, so that we're not rushed by winter weather later in the year. So we want to get started as soon as we can after those approvals are in place here in the next couple months. Our goal then is to have all of the infrastructure for phase 1 completed by June of next year. I think we'll beat that significantly, but we've allowed for time for weather and other things that can get in the way. But then by next July, we hope to have houses under construction. Again, I think that there's a chance that can be sooner, but that's the schedule that we're working with right now. It's very conservative. So that would dovetail with the financial schedule that Baker Tilly has provided you for home construction to start next summer. I'm happy to answer any questions about the project, about the process. You do have a favorable recommendation for the project to rezone from the Plan Commission last month, and I'm happy to answer any questions you got.
So the requested zoning
Yes,
in the PUD
yes.
is different, varied on area. is that how it's broken down?
It's
The way it looks
actually,
on here.
yeah, so yes.
So like, area 3 is asking for R2.
It actually, area 3 would allow R1, R2, or R3. All three of them would be permittable uses there.
Okay. And then,
The same way with area 2,
okay,
but areas 1, 4, 5, and 6 would only allow for R2.
okay,
Up to R2, right?
up to R2.
Nice,
Yes,
yeah.
that's correct, yes. R1 or R2, yeah.
Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, sure. And again, that's intentional to allow for flexibility to move as the market moves with the project.
I think that's important.
So this is gonna be a question, Trevor or Stacy could probably answer more than, it's probably a city question more than you question.
Sure.
I'm sure you probably know, but, so we're obligated to DC for 55, 56 lots that we're looking at right now,
55,
55 lots?
yes.
And then after that, is there any other commitments going forward, or what's our plans?
After that, you guys have a first right.
Yes, we have, we'll actually be buying, part of the financial puzzle is, our land purchase of areas, I believe, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We will buy areas 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that money will basically be, provided to the city, but then the city will pledge that back to the project for the improvements in phase 1. So then we'll build phase 1, we'll build out phase 1, and then when phase 1 is done, if the market is still strong, then we've got the ability to buy more lots, or buy more land, and develop more lots, should the market be able to support that.
So DC has first option, I guess, on future development in this project.
That's correct. Yes,
On area 5 and area 6.
that's correct. Because we'll already own the balance of it, yes.
So my first question, back on that, area 2 and 3 rest for the same zoning. They have different densities though.
Correct.
Is there a time frame, I guess, on this area 5 and 6 that DC has to, say we're 5 years into this project and things aren't looking great, which I hope everything goes great, I'm saying,
Sure.
so we're 5, 6 years into this project, things aren't going, market's soft, things aren't, whatever, things can happen. I guess, are we willing to open that up to other development outside of that to keep the project moving forward?
I think there's some language in the development agreement about that, and I apologize, I don't have that on the top of my head to recall exactly the time limitation that's imposed there.
We brought that up in TIF. I don't remember the specifics, but we made sure there's a clawback if for some reason the original portion of the project isn't completed, that it won't just sit empty forever. There's a time period on that. And then also there's a maximum time period for the first right on areas 5 and 6. So there's timeframes on both to make sure if it gets to where for any reason nothing's happening over there, there's a recourse to make sure we can get something going eventually.
We saw that happen a few times.
Yeah.
So I just want to avoid that.
Yeah, last thing we want.
Yeah, that was Trevor, I made sure, I think he made sure that.
I brought up the exact same thing.
Fair question.
Yeah.
Very fair question.
And where you've Xed this out in red, that's just pushing that from area 1 to area 2.
That's correct. Yes.
And then one thing I know that was brought up was asking for a second entrance in APC.
Yes.
That'll be coming into area 2, I guess.
Yeah, area 2 will have have an access point into area 1, as well as an access point to York Road. So that would give the single family area down in area 1, 2 access points out to York Road.
Okay.
So when area 2 develops, we'll make sure that that access point is imposed upon, whether we're the developer or someone else is, that access point will stay with that property.
Okay.
Yep. And Area 3 will also have 2 access points. I think that was also a condition from the planning commission as well.
We were just talking about that.
Sorry, we need it.
You guys have any more questions for them? Mike, you got anything? No. Stacy? Brandon?
That's all I come up with right.
Josh, you have anything?
I do not.
Chris?
Nope, I'm good.
Alrighty, we will move forward and seek a motion for ordinance 2026-06.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stacy, do I hear a second? Second by Mike, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, opposed? 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Do we wanna do second and third?
Do it.
It only needs one.
Only needs one. Good deal.
Even better, even better. All right,
You didn't let Pat speak.
Oh. Matt, thank you.
That will need to be recorded, so if you want to send it to me, I can.
thank you, Pat.
So Travis,
That's all the ordinances I have on here. Someone had mentioned to me they applied for a alleyway vacation, and they were thinking they
That's-
would be on this month's
It's,
agenda.
no, I told him he wouldn't. I told him he need, Josh, we started that process. I gave Josh that packet this morning. It's not an alleyway. I think is it talking Kenwood?
Yeah,
Yeah. I talked to him. I told him there was no need. Josh, I talked to Josh. We informed him there's no need for him to be on the agenda because there's stuff that we have to do behind the scenes on that. He did give us the information. I have not had a chance today to reach out to him to give him the information you sent me.
yeah, I mean, there, by state statute, there's a petition that he needs to, that the property owner will need to file. And then there's a filing fee here, and then we also need a legal description, and there's quite a bit of like.
Josh sent that to me today, and I have not had a chance to get it to him today, but
so maybe next month then.
I got it, because you have to notify the neighbors, you have to get a legal description, so that'll depend on how quickly.
yeah, but I've talked to him on the phone and
Okay, as long as
Yeah,
you're still in everything.
yep.
Okay, alrighty. Any other new business?
Just to circle back on what, the resident from Spotswood was mentioning, knowing that I'd already, addressed that and everything, John called, was that last week, Chris, I think?
I think so.
John called me to, kind of explain, because I had a concern. And he said that with the transfer of the dumpsters and everything and the sludge being there, that's why it's just where it's still, they're in the process of taking it out. So, he said within a week, it should be much better, if not completely resolved. So, we're probably, 5 days into it or so. I did still notice that, yesterday, but it wasn't near as bad as what it has been.
Roger and I were over there today looking at the EUV system.
Okay.
And it's
It's still fairly full.
it's still, but I can't, again, forgive me, but right there across from, the office,
Mhm.
whatever, I don't remember what that part is. That's where they ran it down low. And now John said, I think Charlestown, I may be wrong, runs their plant like that all the time.
Well, I've looked into other options as, as far as the US as a whole.
Yeah.
Other options, and we're fairly limited anyway.
Yeah.
On those, I think there are like 3 different avenues that you can take as a city, but, this one was, one of the most cost effective, from what I researched, but, also, I swung by there today also, and, I just noticed that there's still a lot of waste that has to be taken off, but,
And the dry beds are still, again, those are pretty full.
yeah.
We're having trouble with, I will say they were having trouble, they mentioned it today in the Board of Works meeting that the water meter, It's actually, if there's a leak, they have looked, Stark Enforcement cannot find it. If the water meter is actually in front of 5C, and it runs kind of down what would be 7th Street, I believe. Well, we have a force main through there, so there's gravel. So wherever that leak is, it's just falling the gravel. They can't find it, so they asked the day to move. They're gonna work with Stark Enforcement to move the meter over to 6th Street there, put a new meter, a new line, run it in, because they can't run they don't have enough pressure to run the belt filter press for the polymer. It goes into the belt filter press. So they're still having to use driving beds, but they are working on it, trying to resolve the issues.
We just approved that today at the Board of Works meeting at noon, and, they think that will help a lot with the odor whenever that's completed.
Yeah, they're aware. I mean, they're aware today, so as bad as it smells where you're at, over there, it's worse.
Yeah, it's worse over there, because I know I've seen it driving down the interstate at times, but, and, you know, of course, what type of day we're having with weather.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's being addressed.
Anybody else have any new business?
Go ahead.
We may have been bringing up the same thing.
I was gonna bring up to this.
You good, you good.
Real quick, the gentleman left, I didn't get a chance to address the solar field. I'm trying to keep you up to date, been looking at the numbers. When we came online in November, first couple of months, we were down the bill went down $1,600, and then it went down about $3,000 from that. This month's bill at the end of March, we were down $10,071 in electricity bill. There, again, that does not include what we're selling back to the grid. I don't know where we're at in that process yet. I don't know how that works. So but it's working, and it's good to see the numbers. It's good to see the bill down like that. So,
And I know they're being maintained.
yeah. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's paid for itself.
Mhm. Agree.
It's always a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's always nice when something goes to plan.
Yeah, no doubt.
Takes a while to do it.
And usually that doesn't get mentioned very often when things go right. I mean, you only hear when they go wrong.
That's-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Don't you address it, everything's going to plan.
but it seems, right now, we're, like I said, it came online in November, and of course, sunlight, you're not getting a lot, but last month, like I said, we were down $10,000 on our bill, so I like seeing that.
The only other thing I had was, they just mentioned it in the noon meeting today, doing the spring cleanup, the first Thursday, Friday, Saturday of May, and the 2nd. So it'll be the 7th, 8th, 9th, 14, 15, 16. For the spring cleanup.
Expo will be sending something out shortly.
Hopefully.
Yeah, they're working on getting everything, they will chunk it all together.
Days a week, is that Trevor?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
7 to 2, isn't it, Trevor?
I think so.
I think they said
He
7 to
he
2 all
said-
3 days.
He said all day, so that's what
Yeah, I think 7 to 2, so.
Fair enough.
Went over into the recycling today too. I like the new bins, and we're able to recycle glass in those. We were able to glass, so it's like, from the other standpoint.
All right, anybody else have any new business? Any other business? All right, seek a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
First, second, all in favor? 4-0.
We are.